Unified School District Board of Education to order at 7 o'clock. Just as a reminder, thank you for turning on my microphone so people could actually hear what I was saying. I'd like to call this meeting of the Lammersville Unified School District Board of Education to order at 7 o'clock. Just as a reminder, this meeting is being recorded, so if you could please turn off or silence your cell phones at this time, we would appreciate it. And if you could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Hanson Elementary.
It's kind of in stanzas.
Thank you.
Allegiance, like.
Thank you. No presentation.
Yes.
Good evening, Principal Pacheco. Welcome.
Thank you. Okay, good evening, President Pombo, members of the board, and Dr. Nicholas. We're winded. We found some parking. We made it in. So last time I was here, we were talking about where we were going to eat lunch and how we were going to accommodate more students who enrolled and the classrooms that we didn't have open yet. And we had a plan, and it worked out. So I wanted to give you some updates on how that went. So August 1st, we had 560 students enrolled. Last week, we had 670. We still have students who are enrolling every week. We have houses that are being completed every week. We have students who are calling in to say their house is going to be done in December and they're moving in. So we're continuing to grow. But it's been a lot of fun. And we've been building a lot of traditions and community building culture there as well. So again, just as a reminder, last time I was here, this was my first slide. And it was to show you where we would eat lunch and to show you that we had some grass areas open. That was the line to show how we were going to feed the students. And happily to report that today, this is what we look like on Durant Terrace. We have been focusing, again, like I said, the last 12 weeks on establishing our routines, expectations, building our community and traditions, and then working hard with our kids in the classrooms with our curriculum. Our vice principal, Dr. Macalino, has spent a lot of time with our teachers and our students, talking to students about how they roar, using PBIS to show good character in our classrooms. She's done lesson plans with them. They've brainstormed in class how they can roar in the hallway, how they should roar in the lunchroom. They remind each other to roar every day while they show good character. And we've got that posted all around the school, so that set a very good tone for the year. Along with roar, character counts at Hanson. We do character lessons every week. Students are given a 30-minute lesson on character counts, most of them with some of the journals that we were trained with at our training. When we did character counts, we have character buddies, which are students in the older grades who come and do character lessons combined with a PE or a PE type activity. And then we do celebrations of character, which are student of the month. And so what you see here is our September assembly, where the students who won student of the month got to toilet paper their teacher. So that motivated them to want to get the student of the month the next month, which we did that yesterday. And we got to watch the teachers play musical chairs. So we're turning the student of the months into celebrations as well. We have a very supportive parent community at Hanson Elementary School. We've had parents join us since before school even started, asking how they can help, how they can be involved, what they can do to help us, what they can do to help our teachers. We had over 120 parents attend our first PTA meeting and join our PTA. Once established, the PTA voted to have a fun run, which you see in the bottom picture there, and rallied again, raising over $10,000 for our PTA and our first fundraiser. We also have had parents come in, excuse me, and unpack our science fair, or science lab, as you see at the front, at the top there. They've come in on weekends, help put things away. They want to help get our library done. We always have people on campus wanting to help us out. Part of our tradition at Hanson has been the Genius Hour. It is an hour every Friday where students are encouraged to work on a creative project or to join a teacher who's working on one of their creative projects or passions. So this past module, the first 8 weeks, we had students who did self-driven inquiry projects. We had a teacher who did cake decorating, where students could come and learn that. We had an art class. Our science teacher put together a green team. They're working on recycling. We had a sewing class, and we had makerspace activities. And you can see here, one student's working on her self-driven project where she was able to work every Friday on something that she wanted to learn more about. Students, they're working on sewing. They did hand warmers. Cake decorating, they worked on some piping skills. And then we have a student there who is working on history of the mandala. We had our traditional, well, it's traditional, but it was our first annual, adding to tradition in Mountain House, the Halloween parade. We had parents that came out to support us for that. Our Hanson team dressed up as well. And we stuck with our theme of construction. So again, just working with families and staff to build community, have a lot of fun, build some traditions. Trunk of treats, something else that we do as schools here in Mountain House, and our school wanted to start their tradition as well. We had 16 trunks, lots and lots of families who came out. The event was from 5 to 7, and it was packed the entire time. We had students in our upper grades use their makerspace time to build cardboard arcade games for the trunk or treats. So during that class time, they created these games, and then they hosted the younger ones who came at trunk or treats and helped them play the game. So that was full for the entire night. So I had told the teachers, what do you do when you're a new school and you don't have games? Is make them out of garbage. And it works. And so the 8th grade teacher actually sold tickets to the arcade to raise money for their Great America trip. So it worked out really well. We have been doing a lot of celebrating. Whenever we have a new room open or something added to our campus, we have our tiger there, one of our parents, celebrating that we got our name put on the building. And then the other picture there is of us celebrating the opening of our staff room with a luncheon. We have a beautiful new learning commons that's just been opened. And also our multi-purpose room was open just in time to host Altamont in volleyball last week. And although we did not win, we had a lot of fun. And the kids loved being able to play on their turf. So that was great. Library shelving. All of the district librarians and library staff came over to help us. So I want to thank the librarians and library techs from our district for coming over and helping with that, as well as thank Mr. Faubert and his team for giving us time in their gym over there to work on volleyball, because if they hadn't opened up their gym, we wouldn't have a team. So thank him for that. Finally, last Friday, we wanted to do a grand opening potluck celebration for the opening of our multipurpose room, and it happened to coincide with Diwali, and so we decided to host the celebration of lights to celebrate the opening of our multipurpose room. So we had, again, several community members, lots of food, families who came in and hosted us, served our staff. We had some dancing, and our choir sang as well. And the staff was able to dress in celebratory traditional clothing. Many of them others came and got us all decked out for the event as well. So again, just last 12 weeks of building community, working on getting the kids situated, having a lot of fun, getting to know our staff and our families. Thank you.
I have one question. Has the tiger been named yet?
No,
No.
it's next. We had to finish report cards. And that out to staff next. Yes, thank
I
you.
wanted to say thank you and to you and the entire staff for working around the construction. I know that was challenging, but thank you very much, and thank your team very much.
Thank you
From all of us.
very much.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Matthew Balzerini.
Here.
Colin Clements.
Here.
Sharon Lampel.
Here.
Ann Goodrich.
Here.
David Pombo.
Here.
Ruxar Mohammed.
Here.
Approval and/or corrections to the agenda.
Yes, we're going to pull action item F.
Okay, I'll move for approval of the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. At this time, we will be doing the presentation of some awards. I'd like to call County Superintendent Musolimas forward to join us in these awards.
And we'll have Heather Sherburne, Assistant Superintendent, come up. She's going to be the hostess and the name reader.
Good evening, trustees, President Pombo, Superintendent Musolimas, and Dr. Nicholas. It is my pleasure to be here, parents, and we have a lot of great celebrations to have for students who've accomplished a lot. We're going to start the evening with a very special award, though, for Jacqueline Pereira. So if I could have you come up front while I tell a little bit about your award. Hi, Jacqueline. I'm going to have you stand right here and turn around. So Jacqueline has participated in a very special national competition. She's gotten to the national level called the Broadcom Masters. This competition inspires middle school students to follow their personal passions to exciting college and career pathways in STEM. 30 finalists took home more than $100,000 in awards for this competition. The finalists are judged on projects that they presented at their state and regional science fairs, their knowledge of STEM subjects, and their demonstration of 21st century skills in a series of hands-on challenges. These challenges include designing a new type of shark tag, designing coding and building a functional program using Raspberry Pi and SenseHat, and determining how long it would take for a zombie pathogen to infect the world's population. The Broadcom Masters taps the top 10% of young people participating in state and regional science fairs throughout the STEM ecosystem to participate in the national competition. The top 300 and then the top 30 out of those are representative of special young people who are preparing themselves to solve the grand challenges we face in the world. Winners were chosen from the 30 finalists, of which 14 were girls and 16 were boys, out of 2,537 applicants from over 35 states. Winners were selected by a panel of distinguished scientists, engineers, and educators. Jacqueline Pereira, at age 13, from Mountain House, won $10,000 prize from the Marconi Samueli Award for Innovation, an honor made possible by Samueli's generous donation to this society. Pereira's project explored how fibers from common plant-based materials found in garbage could improve the formation and strength of plastic, enabling people to make better use of materials that would otherwise be thrown away. So we want to congratulate Jacqueline on her amazing accomplishment as what is the equivalent of number 3 in the entire country. And I believe, in addition to the certificate we have, I think there's a check coming up. Is that? No? Oh, here it is.
To Ultima Elementary, I present this $1,000 check, and this donation will go towards STEM programs at Ultima Elementary, including science fair and science fair.
And so Jacqueline, I want to give my this award. Right in the middle. All right, thank you. All right, and the awards don't end there. As amazing as that was, we are also here tonight to celebrate a lot of very special people who have made the amazing accomplishment of achieving a perfect score on their last state testing results in either English language arts, in math, or in many cases, both, which is just amazing. So when I call your name, we'll have you come on up. We're going to have you go over here to Associate Superintendent Mr. Harrison. He's going to put the medal around your neck first. Then we'll have you come down the line, shaking hands, and you'll end with Dr. Nicholas, where he will give you your certificate. Got the plan? One clap. And we'll have one clap, and then we'll have you stand over here to the side, and we'll take pictures at the end. Everybody, let's practice our one clap. 1, 2, 3. Got it. Good job. All right, so first, Sarah Amir. Yes, for ELA. No? Gurkirkan Baines. Naz Bengali. Udaya Bumudurai. Taylor Chin. Megan Collins. Sumina Dahal. Jane Deng. Travis Duong. Andrea Gail Garcia. Tripped you up, didn't I? Amruth Varshini Hanumanthu. I'm sorry, I tried my best. Rishab Karthik. Caitlin Kim. Jaden Kusaba. Chet Lin. Adrea Lau. Serena Machuca. Sahaj Madan. Sophia Muhammad. Eunice Nguyen. Magana Padala. Samantha Sabandal. Varsha Sundaram. Rachel Varghese. And that's it for our English Language Arts Perfect scores. Let's give them a big round of applause. Come on up over here for a picture. Have you all file back in for a picture? All right, thank you. As a reminder, tonight's awards are only half. We gave out about the same number of awards at the last board meeting as well. We have some amazing students. So these next awards are for a perfect score on the CASP test in the area of math. First, we'll have Akash Aramugam. Vincent Sandana. Elijah Cruz. Sagini Gattati. Aditya Anjaneya Gundlapalli. Chandrasekhar Kamaraj. Udit Karthikeyan. Siddharth Krishna. Sophia Kwok. Jonah Elijah Linsangan. Saketh Macharaju. Sriya Matthew. Venkata Meka. Shanmukh Mika. Ayan Naha. Wait, sit it. Mahit Namburu. Hamsika Natala. Aravind Parambathankundi. Alexandra Papusoy. Amaya Puranik. Sriram Ranga. Sama Rita Saik. Gerald Cairo Tungal. Elizabeth Varghese. And that concludes all our students for math only. Let's give them a big round of applause, and you guys come on up. Come on over. Over here for the picture. Right that way. There you go. All the way. How about right here in the middle? All right. And then.
I still need a district picture.
All right, congratulations. And these last awards are students who accomplished the amazing achievement of a perfect score on both the ELA and math test. So our first student is Dominic Arokairaj. Trevor Clark. Tanya Kalapara. Saksham Madan. Manas Mantri. Abhirami Nair. Arav Patel. Jacqueline Pereira. Raiden Kiambo. Samarth Ramesh. Alicia Royce. Ashlyn Royce. Cindy Ta. Yun Rong Ting. And Angelina Trin. All right, let's give them all a big round of applause. Come on up.
It's all good. It's all good.
All right, thank you.
Totally surprised me. Totally blew me away. That was even better. Big surprise.
I would like to say congratulations not only to all the students we honored here tonight, but also to their parents, their teachers, and district staff. I think it's a great accomplishment for everyone involved. This time I would like to call forward County Superintendent James Musalamas.
Thank you. Boy, what a great night I picked to come to a board meeting. My goodness, what impressive students. Really, it's a reflection, means you have an outstanding board, outstanding superintendent, just incredible staff and teachers here, because it doesn't happen accidentally, but probably most importantly, amazing parents and family. Congratulations to all the parents and families. Really a great job. Very impressive. At the County Office of Education, we sponsor all the student activities for the county, from mock trial to academic decathlon, et cetera. So I'd like to introduce Annie Cuniel at this point. She's going to say a few words and share a video, and then I'll come back at the end and say a few words, okay? Thank you. Annie.
You.
Good evening. Just as impressive as that was to see all of your students recognized, you're also very impressive in our academic competitions that our county hosts. So if you haven't been to a county competition, first of all, you're missing out. And second of all, we're going to show a little video to give you a little taste of what it's like. So this 2-minute video is on our website, along with another 6-minute video that's a little longer, and it shows coaches and students being interviewed, and I think you'll find some familiar faces on that video. To add a little more detail to that data at the end, where it said 95% of seniors who participate in student academic competitions go on to some form of high school. We compared that with some data from the Post-Secondary Educational Commission, and to give you an idea, about 46% of the students in our county go on to some form of college. To take it a little bit further, the high school seniors that were surveyed, 77% of those that participated in the academic competitions go on to 4-year. That compares to only 12% of the students in our county. So very impressive. And some people would argue that an academic competition only the smart kids are going to those. And of course, they're going to go on to college. But that's not always the case. Of course, there are some students that probably would have had that in their future and go on. But there's a lot of students that are a part of that team that are exposed to something that they didn't know that they were capable of doing. Some of our academic competitions like decathlon and pentathlon, to form a team, you have to have students from each GPA category to show that your whole school is represented. So I think there's something to be said with that data at the end. It's more than just the smart students going to school. It's being a part of a team, it's being around students and exposing yourself to things maybe that you wouldn't have otherwise. Also on our website is our student events catalog that will go into more detail on all of the events, not just our academic competitions, but student events like outdoor education and our music concerts and choir. There's one page in this catalog that is not a student activity, and that is our golf tournament. And I think Superintendent Musalimas is going to talk a little bit about that.
Thanks, Annie. And Annie has been running our student activities for years, does a great job. So there's no state funding to sponsor these activities, so we put on a golf tournament every year. We formed a foundation, and we raise about $50,000 a year, and that's how we're able to provide these programs. So 2 years ago, put a challenge out to all the superintendents to come out and participate in our golf tournament, and we would have an annual award for that. So 2 years ago, Manteca Unified came out, and they won the award. Well, this year, your superintendent decided to join us and brought a team, I think, of ringers, but anyway, they wiped everyone out and took first place. So I'd like to present that trophy tonight to Superintendent Nicholas and to Lammersville Unified School District. So this is a perpetual trophy that will stay with Lammersville this year, and we'll see what happens next year. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. And then maybe we can put this picture in our catalog for next year and get some interest.
I do want to say that Mr. Harrison won second place in the fashion category with those shorts.
You can just leave that right there.
At this time, anyone who would like to make an exit may do so. I know everyone has things to do at home, homework and whatnot, so if you'd like to leave now, you're welcome to. If you'd like to stay and enjoy our meeting, you're welcome to do that as well.
Yeah. I kept telling him that. This is all we have.
Moving on to item 5, committee reports. District Advisory Committee.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. District English Language Learner Advisory Committee.
Nothing to report.
Education Extracurricular Committee.
Nothing to report.
Facilities Committee. Our next facilities meeting is scheduled for December 20th at 6:30 here in the boardroom. Anything to add, Trustee Clements?
No, sir.
Facilities, that was facilities. Policy Committee.
We're currently reviewing the next set of policies. We have until the 15th to do that, and they'll be presented to the board for a first read at our December meeting.
Thank you. Safety Committee.
I attended 2 separate presentations along with the safety committee and district staff, administration, and parents. They were regarding active shooter presentations, and we're going to be taking that back to our next meeting, which is going to be on the 14th, to evaluate both programs and see which one we think is a better fit, and we'll be making a recommendation to the full board based on that.
Thank you. And Wellness Committee, our next meeting is scheduled for December 12th at 3:30 here in the boardroom. Board reports. Student Board Member Ruxar Mohammed.
So there has been many events that happened since last month or since I came. So to start off, we had our homecoming, which was a theme of cartoon channels, which is perfect and suitable for both the high school students and the elementary kids who participated in our parade. And that Friday, we also won our homecoming football game against Ceres High School, which led us to hosting our very first playoff game last Friday, which was held by the CIF. And speech and debate last month also went to a tournament at UOP, University of Pacific, where a few of our students did place. HOSA, the club, did a haunted hospital at the school near the end of October as a fundraiser, and we got an amazing turnout and raised a lot of money for the club. And there was also a HOSA medical interventions and biomedical interventions white coat ceremony, which I also attended, and we all received white coats as a new step into medical and scientific careers. And yesterday, I, along with many other students, worked as poll workers at the midterm elections, and it was a great experience for all of us to see. And currently, today and tomorrow, our school is having Breaking Down the Walls, which is a program going on where students are able to come together with their experiences and stories to connect. And the drama program at our school is preparing for their first play of the year, Clue, which will be performed this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And yeah, that's all right now.
Thank you. Trustee Goodrich.
Well, in addition to attending a few of our amazing football games, which have been the pride of the community, I also attended the Altamont DARE graduation, and I was incredibly proud of our students, and also very proud of our community for backing the DARE program. I know this is something that we choose as a district to promote, and I've just been becoming more and more aware of the dangers and the prevalence of just a variety of ways that students are able to access marijuana, given that the marijuana has been legalized. And it's becoming more and more of a problem in our schools. So I'm very proud of our district that we're continuing to support the DARE program, and thank Officer Abercrombie for his service. And I was also able to attend the San Joaquin County School Board dinner, where we heard Kevin Honeycutt present about the importance of art and technology in school. And again, I was proud to say that our school is leading the cutting edge of making sure that both of those things are featured and are very important to our school programs here in Mountain House. So I was proud to do those things.
Thank you. Trustee Clements.
Oddly, I have nothing to report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Trustee Balzerini.
I also attended the San Joaquin County Board's dinner, and also had a presentation for the Teacher of the Year Award from the county, which was pretty impressive.
Thank you. Trustee Lampel.
So I attended the biomedical pathway white coat ceremony with President Pombo, and once again, Ms. Olson has not only taught her students the scientific method of proving their theories, but she's also taught them to be poised and how to present their ideas. It was a very impressive evening. I also attended the homecoming football game, and there's a lot of spirit in Mountain House over football right now. At our last meeting, I forgot to mention that when I delivered my monthly report to the CSD, I met some folks who would like to connect with our schools, and I've shared their business cards with Superintendent Nicholas. Jennifer Gibson, who was at the meeting talking about the STARS program for Senior Citizen Patrol, would like to connect with the high school for a high school program. What are the high school? Are they Eagles? What are they? Explorers, thank you. I couldn't remember what they were called. So she's also the contact for the Explorer program. So Superintendent Nicholas has the card to share with Principal Faubert. I keep promoting people. And Mario McCairn is our new fire chief. And he approached me. He missed Fire Safety Month, connecting with the schools this year because he was new, but I've shared his card, and he would like to connect with the Mountain House schools for some activities next year during, I think that's in October. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. I too attended the homecoming games as well as the homecoming parade. Very impressive. I really enjoy seeing the community pride and school spirit that is evident in those events. I also attended the Mustang Brigade Band competition in Dublin High School, where our marching band placed third out of 7 competing teams. I did site visits at Wickland, Cuesta, Altamont, and Lammersville since our last board meeting, and as always, very impressed with our teachers and students and staff at all the schools. I always enjoy my visits to the campuses. I also attended DARE graduations at Cuesta, Wickland, and Altamont, and as Trustee Goodrich mentioned, very, very good, very worthy program, and very nice to see how excited the students get over the training that they've received through the DARE program. I also attended the final regular season game at Mountain House High School, and unfortunately my memory fades, but I know they won the varsity won that game as well. I attended the white coat ceremony, and as Trustee Lampel mentioned, very impressed with those young students and Mrs. Olson for her tutelage of them. I attended the first ever Mountain House High School football game where they beat Union Mine, and this Friday I plan to attend their second playoff game ever, where they will travel to Ripon to hopefully bring back a win. I attended the senior breakfast at Applebee's. I believe I understood that they fundraised over $1,000 for the senior class events in that event. I also was a judge at the district spelling bee, and I'm very glad that I had a list of the words so I knew how to spell them, because otherwise there's not much chance I could have judged the competition. Very impressed with the youngsters and their abilities to spell.
And I'm also looking forward to Clue Friday night. I think you have tickets as well.
I do. I will not be there Friday because I will be at the football game on Friday. I will not be there Saturday because I have a band competition on Saturday. I will be there Sunday. So I am very much looking forward to that as well, and I would encourage the rest of the board to make it out if they can. I'm sure there are still tickets available. With that, I will move on to...
Mr. President, if I may make an addendum. One comment that I was going to make that I forgot to make, which is not really a board report, but I wanted to give kudos to the football program. They went from never having won a league game to league champions in 1 year. And I really... And I wanted to congratulate the coaches and the players for sticking with it, with the program. It speaks well to their tenacity.
Certainly does. I look forward to seeing them continue this year and into the future. Item 7, receiving of public comments. The board shall give members of the public an opportunity to address the board either before or during the board's consideration of each agenda item. At a time so designated on the agenda, members of the public may bring before the board matters that are not listed on the agenda of a regular meeting. The board may refer such a matter to the superintendent or designee or take it under advisement, but shall not take action at that time. The board may place the matter on the agenda of a subsequent meeting for discussion or action. Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board shall limit the total time for public input to 20 minutes on each item. I see no speaker cards. I see no one waving frantically that they'd like to come up and address the board. So we will move on. Consent items for consideration. Governing board meeting minutes of the regular meeting from October 17th, 2018. Ratification of contracts under $25,000. Approval of warrants. Ratification of 2018-2019 new hires. Ratification of resignations. Ratification of school-sponsored overnight trips. Updated 2018-2019 fundraisers. Acceptance of donation, $120 from Giodi Nyack for enrichment of National GOB for Hanson Elementary School. Would anyone like to pull anything from that?
Move to approve consent items for consideration.
Second.
I think Matt got that one. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And at that, I'd like to welcome the following new employees to our Lammersville family. Roxana Carballo Rivas, a bilingual instructional aide. Caroline Davila, administrative assistant. And Veronica Lozano, custodian security 3. Welcome to Lammersville.
Item 9, District Administrative Report, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Nicholas?
Yes, I just have a couple of quick things to announce. Last year, the Learning Council, which is a research organization that gathers information around schools and districts that are effectively using technology-related instruction, named our high school an award winner. This year, I was announced yesterday by Assistant Superintendent Sherburne that our district was named a top digital school district, and it's a national award tied to the work that we're doing on making sure that we're balancing education, technology, and progressive pedagogy. So congratulations to all. And then I'll just kind of wrap up some of the, we've had nice little kudos to our football program, but there are some statistics that can kind of put a bow on that. So the team is currently 10-1. They went 9-1 during the regular season, winning the co-championship of the Western Athletic Conference in its first year of existence, tying with Pacheco High School and Los Banos High School. Pacheco High School is a higher division, therefore a larger school, more competitive. So it's quite an accomplishment. Their first playoff game was against Union Mine. It was a close and hard-fought game. But the Mustangs prevailed 53-30 with a very strong second half. And what is most important is Friday night we will be traveling to the vaunted Ripon Indians, a recent 15-year run of very successful football. We're trying to get everybody to go and fill the stadium. It's a small town with a small town feel, but rumor has it that they can get a little too big for their britches. Cockiness can emerge here and there, and we would like to see our Mustangs prevail. Madam Trustee Goodrich aside.
Standing in the middle.
It also needs to be noted that our girls golf team and tennis team won their league championships as well. So lots of good things happening academically and extracurricularly in our district. And that is my report.
Thank you. Item B, District Enrollment Report. Dr. Nicholas.
Hold on a second. I got a moment. Shoot, all right. It is 5,000.
Sorry, Marley.
Bless you.
That was the microphone.
Damn, I wrote it up here. Hold on a second.
Forget to carry the
All
wand.
right, so I'll admit it. I'm the first one to choke. I apologize. The enrollment, sir and ma'am, is 5,385.
Thank you. Item C, District Maintenance and Operations Report. Mr. LeGrand.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
Good evening.
So I'm happy to report the outfield fence for the softball field, Mountain House High School, is complete. Looks beautiful. If you get a chance to go by there and take a look at it, looks outstanding. The contractor did a great job. Very happy with it. Our new radio vendor was in the district all day today, pretty much. They put a second repeater on the top of this building. It's a temporary placement until the other half of the building will be completed. Then we'll put it permanently on the higher part of that roof over there. They reprogrammed all of our emergency radios, and Hanson got their radios, and the only thing left for them to do is add 6 or 8 radios for the high school. That's still left to be done. I was also on a conference call today for the field at the high school where they put the road in. The sod, hydroseeding is not filling in, so we had a plan B, talk about watering, that kind of stuff. So hopefully in the next 2 weeks we'll see some green grass down the center of the field. Yesterday had a training on the lighting controls at Hanson. Last Friday we had our annual fire inspection at Lammersville. And last Thursday was in-service day, so we're able to get a lot of extra stuff done with the students now on campus. And last Tuesday I attended the Alice and the Run, Hide, and Fight training here at the DO. And then the week before we had training at Hanson on the HVAC control, the bleachers, AV equipment, and the irrigation controls. So we should be pretty much done with all the training for Hanson. And I ran out of paper, so that's all I wrote down. So I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions or comments by the board?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Moving on to action items. Item A, consider approval of 2018-2019 intra-district transfer requests. Staff report?
None.
Move to approve 2018-2019 inter and intra-district transfer requests.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, consider approval of revised contract with non-public agencies, Learning Solutions for $51,512. Staff report?
Yeah, so this is an addition to a contract that we already had to provide service for a student in our special ed program.
Move to approve revised contract with non-public agency Learning Solutions for $51,512.
Second.
Questions or comments by the board?
It is a quick question, Alvina. This is general fund?
Yes.
Thank you.
Further questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item C, consider approval of agreement for 6th grade science camp with the Marin County Office of Education for the 2018-2019 school year for Wickland Elementary. Staff report?
Yeah, so the science camp week for Wickland fell on a 4-day week, and they requested to be able to have the kids go for a 5-day week. So this is the way we were able to work that out.
I'll move for approval of agreement for the 6th grade science camp with the Marin County Office of Education for the 2018-19 school year for Wickland Elementary.
Second.
Questions or comments by the board?
Thank you for making sure that the kids get the full experience.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item D, consider approval of local indicators for local control funding formula, local control accountability plan. Staff report?
Yeah, Associate Superintendent Harrison will give a short presentation.
Thank you. Board President Pombo, trustees, Dr. Nicholas. So it's that time of year again that we're going to start the series of LCAP presentations to the board. The first LCAP presentation that I'll be giving you tonight is the local indicators. The local indicators are based off of the 8 LCAP state priorities. You'll notice that I have 5 priorities that are underlined. Those 5 priorities not only are a part of our regular LCAP, but additionally we have to have a local indicator from our school district that we are using to measure those 5 state priorities. I'll remind you of our LCAP goals: systematic closure of the opportunity gaps, which addresses priority 1, 2, 4, 5, and 8, instruction and curriculum efficacy, which is priority 2, 6, and 7, and 21st century outcomes and stakeholder communications, which addresses priority 1 and 3. So when looking at the local indicators for priority 1 is basic conditions of learning. So the requirement for 1 is that we met the Williams Act requirements, that our facilities are in clean and in good repair, that we have appropriately credentialed teachers, and that all students have access to standards-aligned instructional materials. For priority 2, which addresses the state standards and conditions of learning, this priority is a little different, and they use what's called a reflection tool. And you basically choose from 1 to 5 to rate yourself as a district, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest, or full implementation. You'll note there that each individual area, curricular area, is noted with a number. So ELA we're at 5, ELD at 5, math at 5. Our new science standards were at a 3, and then history and social studies, we're at a 1. Now let me explain that for a moment. We're at a 1 because we're in the process of adopting new material. Last school year we were at a 3 because we were using material that was standards aligned, but it wasn't the new content. So this year we're rated a 1 because we're in the process of adopting new content for history, social studies. You'll notice CTE is 4, health is 5, PE is 5, and world languages is 5. And then professional learning is a requisite of this area as well, and that is the professional development that we've delivered to our teachers and our administrators, and we're at a 5. Priority 3 is parental involvement and engagement. This priority is a narrative, so I have to write a narrative related to the activities that we have that involves parents. So the survey results that we use for that are a local survey that we give to parents and students, and the Healthy Kids survey, which the Healthy Kids survey is focused on students, but it also gives us trends of their thoughts and opinions of our schools. So for example, 73% surveyed agree that LUSD schools prepare students academically for success in life. That's a data point that I use. 62% of parents surveyed believe LUSD challenges their students to develop their academic potential. And then 77% of parents believe the schools of LUSD communicate effectively and in a timely manner. Engagement with parents that have students with exceptional needs is also a requisite of this priority. And just so you're aware, last school year we delivered the Healthy Kids survey, which is an every other year survey, but we also delivered a local survey. The local survey is something that we need to do not only to experience what's going on with our students and our parents in our school district, but it's also a requirement for the LCAP. Moving forward, we're going to be doing Healthy Kids survey on one year and our LUSD survey on the next year so that we have surveys each year instead of the same year. Last year we did them on the same year because we wanted to have a starting point for our survey process. Priority 6, school climate and engagement. Once again, we use survey results, and for this item, we use Healthy Kids survey results. For example, 87% of 5th grade students feel safe or very safe at school. 74% of 7th grade students feel safe or very safe at school. And 73% of 9th grade students feel safe or very safe at school. Now, I know how competitive we all are. I am as well. The 73%, it should be noted that for each and every one of those indicators, there was 1 to 2% of students that felt they were not safe. There's an undecided section, so students can be undecided. So it doesn't necessarily mean if we have 73% that we have 27% that don't feel safe. That's not what that means. Okay? We also use the local LUSD survey results, which we survey students. And the findings and what we're looking for is how connected to the schools are our students. So we use these survey results and we use the data that we glean from these reports to figure out, okay, how connected are our students to school? And that is one of the indicators for priority 6. Priority 7 is new this year. It was added. It also had a reflection tool. The questions were, does students have access to a broad course of study as required for Education Code 51210? And that is for all the core academics, PE, health and science. And do they have access to intervention and remediation for unduplicated student groups? For example, things like success at the high school, in-class and after-school remediation, small group instruction, online learning, and digital supports that we have. We also address student access to programs and any barriers to access for CTE and AP. I added PSAT there because one of the ways that we remove barriers for our students is we give all our 10th graders the PSAT. And with the results of that, you can find out all the students that are ready, AP ready, whether they think they are or not. So we can go out and find them and say, hey, you're AP ready. Why don't you take an AP class? Any questions?
I do. On priority 2, who participated in that survey to get those numbers? Go back, I think maybe it was the 3rd slide.
Priority 2 was not a survey, it was a reflection tool.
Yeah, who participates in that reflection tool?
Ed Services, our team.
Okay.
So we do a self-evaluation of where we are in the curriculum. Are we fully adopted, partially adopted? So it's a self-reflection of where we are as an organization.
Okay. And at some time, can we see either the percentage or the raw numbers of students that don't feel safe at school?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, it was 1% to 2% for all 3 of those groups.
Okay.
And in that survey, it's grades 5, 7, and 9. But yes, I can produce the raw results for you.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Sure.
I had a question about priority 6. One of the questions you had there was how connected are students to their school? And I think that was from one of your surveys, not from the Healthy Kids surveys.
The Healthy Kids survey, it's in both surveys.
Oh, okay.
The Healthy Kids survey addresses it as well.
So what was the answer? How connected are they? Like, is that different than how safe they are?
Yeah, connectedness means like how many students are involved in extracurriculars at your school, or how many students feel like there's an adult that they can talk to at school.
Right.
Or how many, there's a lot of series of questions that you can ask to figure that out.
So do we have data on that, or can you get me some data?
Sure.
Thank you.
Further questions or comments?
Not necessarily about this, but just administratively, I appreciate having the PowerPoint with the packet ahead of time so I could review it, so thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Move to approve local indicators for local control funding formula / local control accountability plan.
I'll second.
Further questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item E, consider approval of Facilities Committee recommendation to allow A+ Academic Center to utilize a classroom at Hanson Elementary for a student robotics program during the 2018-2019 school year. Staff report?
Yeah, so last board meeting, this item was tabled, and I was directed to bring it back to this meeting. It has to do with an after-school program request to utilize the Hanson facility within the 1-year window, which according to our facilities policy, we don't allow that. So I'll return this back to you, President Pombo, for that discussion.
Thank you. Just to clarify, this is only waiving the 1-year requirement or requirement by the facilities handbook for no rental use of our facilities when they are new. And we had a presentation from the people running the program and also from Principal Pacheco, who is in favor of allowing it, and it was recommended by the Facilities Committee to approve, but we were unable to come to a consensus at our previous meeting. If anybody would like to.
For the record, I'll just restate my position. We created that rule for a reason. That was so that new facilities could have an opportunity to kind of get their feet under them While I support the program fully, I think it's a great program. I just think that it sets a bad precedence if we start making exceptions to the rule. And it's going to lead to bigger problems down the road.
And I agree with Trustee Belzerini. Once we start opening up the door to making exceptions to policies and procedures that we set up as a board, then we're hard pressed to say yes to some and no to others. So I agree with Mr. Belzerini that we should not waive that 1 year requirement.
All right. I will not go into my reasons from the facilities committee viewpoint. I would only point out that we have in the past made exceptions to facility use handbook regulations, and I think it was intended to be a document that isn't, 100% hard and fast. I think it's intended to allow for flexibility and exception, but it is the will of the board, and if no one else would like to speak, we can,
I have a question.
yes.
Okay, it says that according to the handbook, the facilities use rental within the first year of a newly opened school must be approved by the facilities committee.
Correct.
And the facilities committee recommended that we hear the request.
Correct.
But did the facilities committee approve the request or just recommend that we hear the request?
We did not approve the request. I felt since it was something that was, even though that language exists in the handbook, that it was something that I felt like the whole board should weigh in on, not just the two board members who were sitting on the facilities committee. So I asked that it be brought to the full board
With a recommendation.
with a recommendation to approve, which is typically that's what the facilities committee is, an advisory body. We don't typically approve things unless they fall within the parameters of the handbook.
Okay, so there's a 1 year waiting period unless the facilities committee recommends that there isn't. Am I following this correctly?
I think so.
We debated it, at length, and we wanted a cooling off period, a setting up period, a stabilization period, however you want to phrase that. But we also didn't want a hard and fast rule. I mean, that was the whole point. We did not want to create a hard and fast rule that says we can never do this, so that the way that the policy was written was the presumption is no. However, organizations can present a request and it will be considered. If it's never going to be considered, we shouldn't say it's just wasting people's time to ask them to come present if we're going to say never. I can tell you that having the principal of the facility say, this is a program that I want in my school. It's specifically relating to technology, which is one of the thrusts of the culture that she's trying to create. She was a champion of allowing this, and that was what swayed me. I mean, the presumption for me is against doing it in the first year, but all of those things, considering the benefit to the children, the recommendation of the principal, the alignment with the thrust of the culture that she's trying to create, got my yes vote.
Well, I don't know what the facilities handbook says right now, but I can tell you from a historical perspective, it was a hard and fast rule that we did not allow it during the first year. And we met much resistance with the high school over the same issue. And we denied a lot of people that wanted to use the high school in the first year, and we wouldn't let them. So, again, I don't know what it says now, but it has been hard and fast in the past.
Can I hear from the principal of Hanson?
Could you please come forward, Principal Pacheco?
So in your presentation you gave earlier, you talked about this Genius Hour. And according to the notes here, it says that this would be part of the Genius Hour. Is that correct?
It's not exactly part of the hour that we have on Fridays, but because we have students who are in our Genius Hour and they are choosing different things that they want to study and focus on, having the program at our site would be an easy segue for them, because they would be exploring in their Genius Hour and then could then do the after-school program where they could build the robotics. So it's just kind of a segue. It's an easy access program for the students.
And the Genius Hour, is it something that students are required to do, or is it a voluntary after-school program?
The Genius Hour is during the last hour of school on Friday. So every Friday from 12:30 to 1:30, all of our students, TK through 8, are working on a Genius Hour type project, whether the class is doing a teacher set challenge of building something out of blocks at a certain height, or they're studying sewing or pastry chef or art. All the students are participating.
Okay.
Yeah, during that last hour.
Okay, thank you.
And this is a for-profit organization, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
And just for the record, they're not requesting any fee waivers or anything else, only the waiver of the 1-year moratorium on rental.
Okay.
Further questions or comments?
No, that's all. Thank you.
So I will move to approve the Facilities Committee recommendation to allow A+ Academic Center to utilize classroom at Hanson Elementary for a student robotics program during the 2018-2019 school year.
I will second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Hey,
Abstain.
All right, well, not sure where we go from here, but it doesn't look like we're going to get to a yes, so.
you got to get a majority.
Right. So we will,
Move to, do we table it, or what do we?
It doesn't pass.
Died.
moving on to item F, consider approval of governing board resolution 1819.
We pulled that one.
Oh. Sorry about that. I mentioned earlier my memory. Item G, consider approval of second reading and adoption of updated board policies and administrative regulations. Staff report?
This is the second read. It's gone through the policy committee, the first read, and this is the second read for ratification.
Discussion by the board?
Move to approve second reading and adoption of updated board policies and administrative regulations.
Second.
Further questions or comments by the board? All in favor? Aye.
Once
Opposed?
again, I would like to thank district staff and the committee for putting that massive encyclopedia together.
Oh, just wait, there's more.
Oh, I know. There will always be more.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item H, consider approval of temporary unrepresented certificated hire Teresa Bodenmiller, Coordinator of Instruction and Technology Integration. Staff report?
Yes, so we have a coordinator on a half-time leave. We brought in someone to fill that time that was a current employee. That person took an administrative job. This temporary hire will fill that void in that position. We recommend approval.
I'll move for approval of the temporary unrepresented certificated hire, Teresa Bodenmiller, Coordinator of Instruction and Technology Integration.
Second.
Further questions or comments by the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item I, approval of architectural valuation at GASB 75 report for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2018.
Point of clarification.
Actuarial, yes. Actuarial valuation.
So this is an annual, oh, sorry.
Staff report?
This is an annual report. It's tied to our long-term liabilities associated with retirees. Anything into the detail of GASB 75, you can ask Alvina, but that's generally a report on our abilities to meet our liabilities.
And this is actually a report that's required every 2 years. Yeah.
And I apologize, along with my memory, my vision is going, and so sometimes I guess what words are instead of actually seeing what they say.
So I'll move for approval of the actuarial valuation and GASB 75 report for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2018.
Second.
Further questions or comments by the board? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item J, approval to authorize the superintendent to issue a request for qualifications, request for proposal to selected architects for the design and construction administration of an elementary school in neighborhood AB, Evelyn Costa Village. Staff report?
So I can't even believe I'm saying this. This RFQ process will allow us to identify an architect. I do want to remind the board that we had a discussion about a year ago in the race to get on Prop 51 funding list of a possibility of using one of the previously used school designs. We did not, because of the quick nature in which the Prop 51's when money were allocated, we aren't necessarily under that restriction. We can choose to, once we choose an architect to build or design Evelyn Costa, we can do a new design, use a used design. But I wanted to remind the board we had that discussion, and we were doing it at the time because we thought we might be able to get on that list, which we didn't. So we recommend this approval so we can get to the business of having a conversation around school design.
So moved.
Second.
Further questions or comments by the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Procedural, that first, the top.
For this item, we just need a board approval. For the next one, we're going to call up Chris Lynch, and then we'll go through the script. So if we get the Evelyn Costa RFQ, then we go to the next one.
I apologize, we had a first and a second, and we voted, correct? Yes. Okay, moving on.
All right. I'd like to ask Chris Lynch to come up from Jones Hall. He's our bond counsel. We have a script to follow. Generally, the process that we're about to do is to annex two territories in Village D, known as D2 and D4, into our CFD 2014-1. In doing so, it will allow us to expand the amount of Mello-Roos bonds that we can sell.
Point of order, Mr. President, this item hasn't been introduced yet, all right? Have you announced this item?
That was my,
Well,
We got to go into, don't we have to go into a public hearing first
that
before
was
we
my
do all this?
question, is, do we do item K?
we have a script that we've been asked to read, and so this initial thing kicks open K. I believe that's what we're supposed to do. So but I think there's a little confusion. I'll take that.
It kind of seems like the horse before the cart, but
I agree.
tell me. Okay. These are the public hearings in the governing board's proceedings for annexation of the territory to improve Area 1, to Improvement Area 1 for the district's Community Facilities District 2014-1, Mountain House School Facilities. The hearings are to inquire into the annexation of territory and the levy of special taxes in the annexation territory for the purpose of financing school facilities. Does anyone wish to file a written protest? If so, it must be filed with the clerk now. Action item K, consider approval to adjourn from regular session to open session hearings in this governing board's proceedings for annexation of territory to improvement area number 1 of the district's Community Facilities District number 2014-1. I will now entertain a motion and a second to open public hearings.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are now adjourned to, the motion having been seconded and approved, the public hearings are now officially open. We will receive public comments and questions and any oral protests from any interested persons. When all comments have been received, the hearings will be closed.
So is this where we want to also introduce information from council?
Yeah, he's available for if anybody had any questions.
Did you have anything else for us?
I was going to give you an oversight of the process, but I think you're doing a great job. So.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, I think I waited long enough for questions and protests. Item L, consider approval to close public hearings and return to regular session. I will now entertain a motion and a second to close public hearings.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion having been seconded and approved, the public hearings are now officially closed. The governing board may ask questions about the proposed annexation at this time. Any questions or comments by the board? Go to M. Item M, consider approval of Governing Board Resolution 1819-08, submitting annexation of territory to Lammersville Joint Unified School District Community Facilities District number 2014-1, Mountain House Schools Facility, and levy of special taxes to qualified electors.
Move to approve Governing Board Resolution 1819-08, submitting annexation of territory to Lammersville Joint Unified School District, Community Facilities District, number 2014-1, Mountain House School Facilities, and levy of special taxes to qualified electors.
Second.
Questions or comments by the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Roll call, please.
Matthew Balzerini.
Aye.
Colin Clements.
Aye.
Ann Goodrich.
Aye.
Karen Lampel.
Aye.
David Pombo.
Aye. Motion
And we're up.
carries.
On my part now? Yes. Okay, we are. Yeah. Okay. This is the results. Do I read the whole thing? Or just, where do I read on here? Oh, 1 yes vote on the ballot measure.
There's actually 32 votes on one ballot.
Thank you. It says yes.
Thank you. Item N.
No, number 7.
There's another side here. The results of the election being unanimously in favor of the proposed annexation, the levy of special taxes will now proceed with the final actions for the district. Item N, consider approval of Governing Board Resolution 1819-09, declaring results of the special annexation election, determining validity of prior proceedings, and directing recordation of amended notice of special tax lien in connection with annexation of territory to Lammersville Joint Unified School District, Community Facilities District 2014-1, Mountain House School Facilities.
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Roll call, please.
Matthew Balzerini.
Aye.
Colin Clements.
Aye.
Ann Goodrich.
Aye.
Sharon Lampel.
Aye.
David Palmer.
Aye. Item O. I will now entertain a motion and a second to introduce an ordinance entitled Ordinance of the Governing Board of the Lammersville Joint Unified School District levying special tax within Improvement Area 1 of the Lammersville Joint Unified School District Community Facilities District Number 2014-1, Mountain House School Facilities, including certain annexation territory, and waive its full reading.
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Information and discussion items. LUSD energy audit by Indoor Environmental Services. Staff report?
It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Jimmy LeGrand.
With a big smile on his face. So the much anticipated energy assessments here, we're going to sum up the energy use in a little PowerPoint presentation for you. It's called Electric Energy Use Post Prop 39. Cool. So the first thing we're going to do is give a summary on the projects we did, Prop 39, the project summary, the electric use summary, results to date, and next steps. So the Prop 39 that we did at the following schools: at Cuesta, we did exterior lighting; at Wickland, and we did the exterior and the interior lighting and replaced all the thermostats. We did the same thing at Bethany, and then at Lammersville, we did the exterior and interior lighting, all the thermostats, and we also replaced 11 package units on the roofs. So the lighting and the HVAC and the thermostats was all complete in October of 2016. So basically a little over 2 years from where we are now. And based upon the work that we've done, we saved the district almost $22,000 in energy costs over that time. If you look in the lower left corner, it has the reduction in energy use by site, the 4 sites we worked on. Cuesta did not. Cuesta's an issue we're going to talk about later. Wickland went down by a third, Bethany went down by a third, Lammersville went down by roughly 11-10%, something like that. So Cuesta is the only school we have an issue where the energy went up since then. Lammersville, the cost went up, but the usage went down because Lammersville is subject to PG&E and the rates went up. So that's why there's a difference there. So we're going to look a little deeper at Cuesta. In 2016, it was the lowest consumption district, and it's jumped to the highest in 2 years. Energy use is up 136% over that time. The chart in the middle shows energy use per square foot. Bethany is the lowest. In the 2 years since Prop 39, their energy use has been cut basically in half. Wickland is next by about a third. Like I said, a little bit at Lammersville. Altamont, we didn't do any work at Altamont, Prop 39 work, and it stayed pretty consistent. We didn't do any work to this building, district office, and it basically is pretty close to the same. We didn't do any work at Mountain House High School, and energy use has gone up, but you need to realize that we've added a ton of new buildings at the high school, so you have to take that into account when you read into that. So Cuesta obviously is our problem child here. Bethany is the lowest in the district, and like I said, we didn't do any work at those other sites. Looking further into Cuesta, basically, when you look at the chart, it says July and August. Our bills get uploaded into a software program, and it takes into account weather and weather factors as well. So when you look from July and August, it looks that Cuesta, the energy usage went up 13%, but the decrease in the weather was down 25%. It's a little bit confusing. So January, February, the energy use went up 10%, even though the number of cold days went down. So what that means is energy should have went down during those periods, and it was the opposite of what you would expect to see. The chart on the bottom left has the energy use for a full year at Cuesta. Below, to the right of that, we have things that we've done so far. We visited the site, did energy use. We've reviewed all the data, loaded in the software program I talked about. And I've been working with IES to troubleshoot and think about ideas what the problem could be. Conclusion, solution, the energy use is a result of issues with the HVAC system. That's the conclusion that we're drawing. And new comprehensive control solutions need to be investigated to replace the existing control system. You may recall that when the Prop 39 projects were initially brought to the board, that the plan was to replace the thermostats at Cuesta. The wiring on the units and the way those units are made up, they would not accept the new thermostats, so we were unable to install them at Cuesta. We instead took that money and replaced the interior lighting at Bethany and the interior lighting at Wickland with those funds. So this chart you see in front of you is the current cost by site. Again, Lammersville towards the bottom is under PG&E authority, and it's 28 cents a kilowatt hour, way more than in all the other sites that you see there. And I can talk about Lammersville. Even though the consumption went down, the cost went up. That's why it did not as much energy savings as we have at the rest of the sites.
On
Yes.
Lammersville with PG&E, have we investigated different tier structures for the electricity there? Because I know PG&E offers different.
Yes. And that's in the next slide, I believe. So.
Thank you.
So what we've done, the district working with IES, and there's to your point, your first bullet point there, ensures the schools are on the lowest energy rate and not being overcharged. We've done 2 energy assessments, one this year and one the previous year. Walking the site, seeing what goes on during the day, if lights are being left on, computers being left on, those kind of things. We checked all the thermostats at the 4 sites. We put them on 3 sites. We put them on Lammersville, Bethany, and Wickland while we were there. Made sure that the program was right, set points were right, calendar was correct, all that kind of stuff. And then, like I said, we continue to analyze utility data. So moving forward, recommended items, continue to monitor the electric bills on a monthly basis. There is training available that our energy manager will come out and train the staff that we could take advantage of. And we're thinking we need a more comprehensive solution for the HVAC controls at Cuesta and possibly the high school and possibly Altamont because electric usage has increased and remained consistent since 2016. There's maybe an opportunity to reduce electric consumption at those 2 sites as well. And again, with the controls, we've had very good results with the Venstar thermostats. They're sort of those little $250 thermostats you might see at Home Depot or some other place, self-programming. And it may be a solution for the rest of the sites to get rid of the Medicine system, which is what we have at Altamont, the high school, and at Hanson as well. So, and Cuesta, sorry. And then the last thing, I've done this at 2 districts ago. We got all the sites certified Energy Star sites. It's good PR for the district. It's good for shows the community you're being good stewards of the school, energy and resources, that kind of stuff. If that's something that we're interested in moving forward, there's just some stuff I have to upload, number of students, number of computers, weekly schedule, all that kind of stuff, square footage, all that kind of information needs to be submitted. And then it'll kick out a score, and then if we qualify, and we can look to make improvements and meet that standard. So I've done it in other districts. That district had 16 schools. I believe we had 14 and 16 that qualified, so if I recall right. And I think that's the end of my presentation. A lot of info. Be happy to answer any questions.
It's a long shot, but if we checked with MID to see if they could expand their service to Lammersville?
No, I have not done that.
I mean, it's just outside the sphere of influence of Mountain House, maybe. I don't know, maybe they'll.
I don't want PG&E to visit my house in the middle of the night with
They'll pull their wires across the street.
So if they like, but yeah, we could ask. I don't know exactly where their area is.
Long
So.
extension cord.
typically, I believe when you access electricity from one company outside of their typical area, then the company, in this case it would be PG&E, charges an astronomical transmission fee for transferring that electricity from the outside source into their area, so I'm guessing that would be the case.
I'm certainly willing to
It'll
ask the
certainly be
question,
good
that
to look into.
never crossed my mind. So, anything else?
The issues at Cuesta, I mean, I've always heard in the past that it was design issues with the building and the vaulted ceilings, and do you think that's the case? That's the problems that we're having there?
I mean, we talked about this at the facilities committee with Trustee Clements and Palmo. I mean, I really think it's the HVAC system. I think it's the controls for the HVAC system. I've been told that when the school was built, those units are already out of date, so to speak. So when we order parts now, we can't get them anymore. We have to have them manufactured. That takes longer to get stuff fixed. And so I really think the controls are not working properly. It's the most logical thing based upon what we're seeing. The second big ticket item would probably be the interior lighting. That's always a big ticket item for schools as well. Now, we talked before about we talked about maybe events coming off in the attic, that kind of stuff, because it's such a huge jump. Now, how do you explain such a huge jump? But it would seem to be that would be the most logical step, is to deal with the HVAC system first and then see what difference that makes, and then maybe look at the lighting, and then we'll go from there. So
The data point that I wasn't aware of is that Cuesta, it was my understanding, not because you told me this, but somehow that was my understanding, that Cuesta had always been inordinately high, but your data shows that Cuesta was on the low end, and then something happened.
something happened around August of 2016 to make that big jump from the best to now it's the worst. So over that 2-year period, something's been going on. And I know we talked about, vents being off in the attic, but you would see rooms that aren't getting cooled and that kind of stuff. We're not seeing those kind of issues. So the most logical step would be the HVAC system, and if they're running on the weekends or after hours or when they're not supposed to be, that would seem to be the first thing to tackle.
Looking forward to more information.
And have you been successful in trying to figure out how to change the thermostats out without rewiring the?
You have to rewire. There's not enough wires to accept the new thermostat. So it'll be if you guys are familiar with Quest, the units are built into the rooms and the little closets. It'd be running a third wire out to the exterior wall or the wall where the thermostat is. Thorne and I have talked about it. It may be something we could do in-house. If they show us how to do a couple, we could maybe do a couple and save some money there. Like I said, the thermostats aren't very expensive to buy. They're about $250. It's pretty reasonable. So it may be something we could tackle in-house, or at least tackle part of it in-house to try and save some costs. But we'll talk about that more as we move forward.
And that's the only kind of thermostat we could use? There's no other thermostat that would align with the system that the school was built with?
That's what most school districts are using. I've used it in other districts as well. There may be something we can get off the shelf that will fit. Another good option.
It would be nice to have the district on the same system.
Yeah.
It's basically just a programmable thermostat, so maybe there's an option there for us to find something else.
Thanks for the work, Jimmy.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Calendar.
No, it's another. Oh.
B.
Item B, catastrophic leave.
Just a brief update. I need to correct the record. A question was asked at a couple of board meetings ago tied to catastrophic leave in our union contracts. The answer was affirmative in both. Upon further review, LTA's contract, the Teachers Association contract, does have a provision for catastrophic leave. The CSEA one does not. That's my report.
Thank you for the clarification.
So in exploring this at my job today for something else, we discovered that our CSEA doesn't have one either, but we have a board policy on it. So it might be covered in our board policies. I didn't bring that up last time because I didn't know about it.
Further question or comments by the board? Item 12, calendar. Monday, November 12th is a holiday Veterans Day. Tuesday, November 13th is the District Advisory Committee meeting in the boardroom at 6. Wednesday, November 14th is a Safety Committee meeting at 3:30. Monday through Friday, November 19th through 23rd is the Thanksgiving break, and district facilities will be closed. Tuesday, November 27th is a special governing board meeting at 6:15. Wednesday through Saturday, November 28th through December 1st is the CSBA Annual Education Conference. And Wednesday, December 12th is the next governing board meeting.
Mr. President, just to confirm, we had a quorum of 3 board members who could make the Tuesday, November the 27th, and we just want to confirm that that's still the case.
Yes, I can make it.
And it was Goodrich, Colin Clements, and Sharon Lampel. Okay, thank you.
And I believe that I also have it on my calendar.
Thank you.
I did have a calendar
According to my,
question.
according to my calendar, we're supposed to be having an education and extra.
That's what I was about to bring up, and we would be leaving for the conference. So we have kind of a,
So the conference is Wednesday, Monday the 26th, and
No.
Tuesday the 27th.
not for
We're-
the board meeting.
Okay,
We've moved on.
okay, sorry.
Okay, let's move.
This computer thing's got me all screwed up tonight. I
Yeah,
apologize.
so the board meeting is fine. And what we're concerned about, on Wednesday, the 28th, there's an education and extracurricular meeting.
I showed that on the 27th.
Oh, no, I have it on the 28th. When do you have it, Heather? Oh, okay, so I have it in the wrong place.
So that would conflict with our board meeting, so we
Yeah.
need to move that meeting.
What time is the education committee? And I believe we set the time for this meeting at 6:15. So you could kill 2 birds in 1 stone in that meeting, or we can reschedule the education committee meeting. It's up to the
There's
board.
no reason that the special meeting should take over 15 minutes, is that correct?
It will not take more than 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, then that's fine.
Yeah, it's just one thing.
Okay, that's fine then.
I'm glad I had this on the wrong day. Let me
I
change
think I
Tuesday.
mentioned, though, that we put it at 6:15. I will leave my office at 5, and so that means I should get here right around 6, barring no accident.
All right. Well,
There shouldn't be one.
we only need 3, so if at least 4 of us think we can make it, then we should be good, I hope. In just a moment, we will adjourn to closed session where we will discuss Education Code 49070, consideration of student records challenge, public employee discipline dismissal release complaint, conference with real property negotiators, property 397 East Ramsey Drive, Mountain House, California, APN 209-545-038, agency negotiator, Superintendent Nicholas, Mountain House Developers, Camilos, Trimark, Shea, under negotiations, price, terms, payment, or both.
Move to adjourn closed session.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We are now adjourned to closed session. Thank you, everyone, for attending this evening. The Lammersville Unified Board of Education resumes open session at 10:36 p.m. Public Employee Discipline Dismissal Release Complaint Government Code 54357.6 and 54957. The board took action on a motion by trustee Matt Balzerini and seconded by trustee Sharon Lampel to authorize the district superintendent to notify a school secretary, 1, of release from his or her probationary position by a vote of 5-0.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are now adjourned.